Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Corporate Finance Online Classes. This is Dr. Mahesh M. Onjeri, Assistant Professor from Department of Management Studies, SDM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. Okay. So, dear students, we have started learning about concept and measurement of cost of capital, which is a continuation of long-term investment decisions. Okay, cost of capital is also considered as a decision criteria or used as a decision criterion in selecting long-term investment projects. So the accept reject rule was simple. Okay, if the estimated rate of return, okay, or the rate of return on the project is greater than the cost of capital, accept the project, means invest in the project or select the project. If the estimated or return, okay, rate of return on the project proposal is lesser than the cost of capital, there is no profit. It cannot maximize shareholders wealth, hence reject the project, means decide not to invest in that project. Okay, so we learned that so far. Okay, so there are specific costs. Capital is raised from different sources, okay, like from equity, shares, preference shares, debentures, bonds, loans from banks and financial institutions, retained earnings, and so on. Okay, so the first step in that is measuring specific costs. Okay, so far we have learned about the importance of cost of capital. We have defined it. Okay, then the computation of cost of capital involves two steps. The first step is computation of specific costs of different sources of finance. So that is what exactly we are learning now. So we were learning how we learned how to compute the cost of debt. Now we are learning how to compute the cost of preference capital. Okay, so just let me quickly take you to the solution problem numerical which we were solving yesterday. Yeah, and continue our learning from there. Okay, so students, I hope you can see the PDF file. Yeah, someone has to respond. Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So we already learned about the cost of debt. Okay, that is debenture, bonds, or even it may be loan taken from bank or financial institution. Okay, so there is perpetual or irredeemable debt. So we learned how to find out the before tax cost, KI, and after tax cost. Okay, then we learned about cost of redeemable debt. Okay, then we were learning about the cost of preference capital. Okay, capital raised by way of issuing preference shares. Okay, I think, yeah, this also, so we were solving this numerical. So cost of irredeemable preference capital or perpetual preference capital. So like debt or debentures, the preference shares are also of two types. One is irredeemable and the other is redeemable. So in case of irredeemable preference capital, if the company has issued irredeemable preference shares, so what is the cost of preference capital in this case? Okay, that is what we were learning how to calculate it. Okay, so in this example, a company issues 11% irredeemable preference shares. 11% is the rate of preference dividend. Okay, it is fixed. For equity shareholders, the rate of dividend is not fixed. It depends on the level of profits made by the company. Each year it varies. So a company issues 11% irredeemable preference shares of the face value 100 rupees each. The face value of the each preference share is 100 rupees and the rate of dividend preference dividend is 11%. Flotation costs are estimated at 5% of the expected sale price. So what is KP? Okay, KP is cost of preference capital. So what is KP? Cost of preference capital if preference shares are issued at par. Yesterday we have already solved it. The cost of preference capital when issued at par, okay, was 11.6%. Now we are going to continue the solution and compute the cost of preference capital, irredeemable preference capital when the preference shares are issued at 10% premium and when they are issued at 5% discount. So I'll continue from here. Okay, so when the preference shares, okay, are issued at 10% premium, okay, and the preference shares are issued at 10% premium, okay. So DP, okay, what is the DP? DP is a constant annual dividend payment, which is 11% of 100, so which is 11 rupees. So DP is 11 rupees, 11 divided by PO into bracket 1 minus F. What is the PO? Expected sale price of the preference shares. Okay. F is flotation cost as a percentage of sale price. So PO is 100 rupees. Sorry, I'm sorry. PO is 110 rupees because preference shares face value is 100 rupees. Okay. But in this case, they are issued at 10% premium. Means 100 rupee preference shares will be sold by the company at 10% premium. 10% of 100 is 10 rupees. So 100 plus 10, 110 rupee is the expected sale price of preference shares. Okay. So 11 divided by 110 PO, expected sale price of preference shares, into bracket 1 minus F. Okay, 1 minus F is 5%. Flotation costs. Okay, flotation costs are 5%. So we rewrite it as 0.05. Okay, so 11 divided by the preference dividend divided by PO, that is the expected sale price of preference shares, 110 into bracket 1 minus 0.05. So if you simplify, you will get 0.1052. Okay, every time I am telling you without fail. If you write like this, you will lose 2 marks. Okay, remember, even if it is 3 mark question, I will give you only 1 mark, remember. Because the objective in PG is to understand the concept, not to arrive at the correct answer. Okay, when you join, if you join finance job, you will not solve problems on a notebook. Remember, company will not give a notebook. Okay, solve this, find out the cost of capital. No. They will use softwares, but they will train you on that. Okay, but prior knowledge of the concept is required, because the software or the Excel will give you output, but what does that mean? You should know that, right? Okay, that's why human intervention, okay, is still there in decision making. So the simplification, once you simplify the equation, you will get 0.1052 as answer. Okay, so the cost of irredeemable preference capital when issued at premium, 10% premium, it is a 10.5%. 10.5%. So now somebody can tell me how we wrote from 0.1052, we are writing 10.5%. How we arrived at 10.5%?
Into 100%. Into 100.
Very good. Yesterday I used the calculator on screen and showed it, right? Simply 0.1052 into 100 if you make, you can convert that into percentage. Okay, so 10.5% is the cost of irredeemable preference capital when issued at 10% premium. Same way we are going to find out the cost when it is issued at 5% discount. Okay, yeah, 5% discount. So KP is equal to 11 is the constant dividend divided by 95. Okay, PO is expected sale price of the share preference shares. Actual price is 100 rupees. Actual price is 100 rupees, but the preference shares will be sold at 5% discount. So 5% of 100 is 5 rupees. 100 minus 5 is equal to 95 rupee is what the company will get on each share. So PO is 95 into bracket 1 minus 0.05, 0.05, 5% is the flotation cost. So once you simplify, okay, you get the answer as 0.1218. If you arrive till here, if it is correct, let us say if it is for 3 marks, small one, 1 mark you will get just. And if you multiply that by 100 and you write it 12.2, you will get only 2 marks, not all 3. And if you put this percentage mark, yes, all 3 out of 3. Same way it is applicable in 7 mark and 10 mark also. Okay, I want you to know and write it. I don't want you to blindly solve the way you solved it in BCom, BB, and other classes. Okay, or in PUC or in high school. Okay, so 12.2% is the cost of irredeemable preference capital when issued at 5% discount, 12.2%. And each answer, okay, remember, each answer except profitability index. Profitability index you have to write as it is. For example, 0.9 or 1.2 as it is you have to write, that's it. But remaining all, either you have to write it in rupees. For example, in case of time value of money, all the answers are in rupees. If you don't write RS before the figure, you will lose 1 mark. And if you don't make the decision, another mark you will lose. Okay, so please remember all that. So what you need to write, whether percentage or in case of a payback period, 3.4 years. If you don't write YEARS years, you lose 1 mark. Okay, so I hope, am I clear, everyone? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Yes, thank you. Okay, and I hope you have received the syllabus for IA1, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you have you have all the resources. Okay, right from PPT, reading material for theory, solved numericals, solutions to practice problems. Okay, nothing is left out. Huh? Remember, all required is your efforts. So then we'll move on to calculation of cost of redeemable preference capital. Say in our example, face value of the preference share is 100 rupees and it is for a period of let us say 10 years. Means every year the preference shareholder will get 11% dividend, and at the end of 10th year he will get his 100 rupees back. Okay, the cost of such capital will be higher in case of redeemable capital. So cost of redeemable preference capital we are going to calculate. Okay, so I think I should use the PowerPoint slide first for the equation or formula. Okay, so now we are here. Yeah, I think that is missing in my PPT. I think I told last time. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, we'll continue from here only. Okay, from the PDF file. So cost of redeemable preference capital. I hope you understood the concept first. Huh? Redeemable preference capital means the face value of the preference share, okay, will be returned by the company at the end of certain period. Until then, every year the preference shareholder is entitled for certain preference dividend as per certain percentage. So cost of redeemable preference capital KP, okay, is given by D plus into bracket small f minus nm bracket complete divided by into bracket RV plus SV bracket complete divided by 2. Okay, so D here is preference dividend. Okay, so I repeat, D here is preference dividend. 1 minute, let me share this also. Okay. Students, can you see this PDF file?
No, sir.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, how about now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll continue with estimation or computation of cost of redeemable preference capital. Okay, so this is a new formula, okay, which is not there in the textbook, but this is an easier version compared to what is there in the textbook. Okay, and help you solve all the numericals, okay, of computation of cost of redeemable preference capital. So KP is equal to D plus, okay, into bracket small f minus nm bracket complete whole divided by RV plus SV, okay, bracket complete divided by 2. So RV here is, okay, redeemable value of the debenture. Okay, so here it is mentioned that the face value of 100 rupee will be redeemed. SV is expected sale price or net cash flows from the issue of preference shares. Okay, then NM is a term of the preference capital, which is 10 years. Okay, D is preference dividend, and small f is flotation costs. Okay, so let us consider this small example 11.6. ABC Limited has issued 11% preference shares, means the rate of a preference dividend is 11% of the face value of 100 rupees each. Of the face value of 100 rupees each, to be redeemed after 10 years. Okay, so the preference shareholders will receive 11% preference dividend each year for 10 years, and at the end of 10th year, okay, the preference shareholder will get back his 100 rupees. So company has to arrange for that also. Flotation cost is expected to be 5%. Okay, when the company issues the preference shares, okay, they incur a cost of 5%. Determine the cost of preference shares. Okay, so let us go ahead with this formula. Kp is equal to D plus F divided by Nm whole divided by Rv plus Sv divided by 2. So here first, okay, D is preference dividend. 11% of 100 rupee is 11 rupees, because the company has issued 11% preference shares of face value of 100 rupee each. So 11% of 100 is 11 rupees. Okay, so D, that is the preference dividend, is 11 rupees plus into bracket F. Okay, so flotation costs are 5% of face value. So 5% of 100 rupees is 5 rupees. 5% of 100 rupees is 5 rupees. So we write here 5 divided by Nm. Nm is the term of the preference capital, which is 10 years. So Nm is 10 years. So we write 10 bracket complete whole divided by Rv. Rv is redeemable value of the preference share. Okay, so the preference shares of the face value of 100 rupee each to be redeemed after 10 years. So redeemable value of the preference share is 100 rupees. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. What happened?
In issued at the par, you have taken F is equals to 0.05, sir. There also it is 5% only, sir.
So wait,
but here you have taken it in rupees 5.
Each problem is different. Okay, so you just look into the concept. That is why what I have told so many times. Can you recall? Yes, you can clarify your doubt. Of course, I'm going to do that. You have to read the sentence and try to understand. You have to read the sentence and try to understand. Okay, and also look at the nature of this equation. It is not the usual one from the textbook. It is slightly different, because the one which is there in the textbook, it is very difficult to use that. Okay, and the steps mentioned in the textbook are not in detail. Some steps are skipping. They have placed the answer directly. Okay, so we are using a different equation now. So whereas you see here, nowhere we are using the percentage. Okay, so remember here, why we use 0.05? For example, the equation is 1 minus 0.05. Okay, so 1 is absolute number, 5 is a percentage. So can I say 1 minus 5%? Can you calculate, anyone? Can you calculate 1 minus 5%? Not possible, right? You cannot calculate 1 minus 5%. Okay, but I need to do the math now. So what will I do? 5 divided by 100 will give me the answer 0.05. Yes, so 0.05 definitely I can deduct from 1. Remember this. So for the purpose of calculations, we convert that 5% into 0.05. So now both are same type of numbers. So only then I can make the math. Please remember this. Here that is not required. Here that is not required, because we don't have that 1 minus equation. Is that clear? So we are going to fill the values as it is, not in percentage or not in fractions. So D is the dividend, 11% of 100, 11 rupees, plus small f, flotation cost, 5% of 100 rupees is 5 rupees. We are going to write as it is. Good query raised by Keshav. I hope everybody had heard it. Divided by NM, term of the preference capital, 10 years, whole divided by RV. RV is the redeemable value of the preference shares, which is 100 rupees in this case. Remember, this is a debt or a preference capital can be redeemed in case of irredeemable debt or irredeemable, in case of redeemable debt and redeemable preference capital. The debt and preference shares can be redeemed even at a premium. Remember this. Even at a premium, it can be redeemed. Okay, but you cannot redeem it at a discount. That is not possible. Remember. So here it is redeemed at face value. So RV is 100 rupees. So I write here 100 plus SV. SV was the sale price. When the company issued the preference shares, they issued the preference shares at face value, but it had a flotation cost of 5%, which we need to deduct. 100 rupee face value of the preference share minus 5 rupee flotation cost. So how much the company will receive on account of each share? Only 95 rupees. So that is SV, sale proceeds of issue of a preference shares. So 95 bracket complete divided by 2. So when you simplify, we get 0.1179. So multiply that by 100, you will get the cost of redeemable preference capital, which is 11.79%. So you are authorized to use this equation throughout the syllabus in I1, 2, 3 or in semester and exams. Okay, and the problems, whatever are given with respect to redeemable preference capital, definitely you can use this kind of a equation. Problems are also selected accordingly. Okay, so any query, cost of redeemable preference capital. We'll solve more in coming classes. Now one problem for each type of specific cost. Okay, they themselves amount to more than 10 problems actually. But after that, we solve again additional problems plus practice problems. Yeah, I forgot to give you practice problems. I think I will not give it now. You complete your I1 and after which I will give you practice problems for unit 2, capital budgeting, evaluation techniques. Okay, is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So any questions on computation of cost of redeemable preference capital? Okay, next I have to move on to the third source of finance, that is equity capital. Company can raise capital by way of issuing equity shares. Equity shareholders are considered as the owners of the company. Okay, remember this. Okay, some features of equity shareholders are, okay, equity dividend on equity shares is paid at the end after paying interest on debt, after paying dividend on preference shares from earning after taxes, whatever remains. Okay, only from that dividend is paid on equity shares or equity dividend, first thing. So in priority, they are the least when it comes to distribution of dividend. And when it comes to mandatory, payment of equity dividend is not mandatory by law. Remember this. Okay, it is at the discretion of the company. Okay, then third thing, equity shareholders have the right to vote and elect the board of directors. Whereas preference shareholders and bond and debenture holders and banks and financial institutions that provide loan, okay, they don't have the voting rights. Okay, so remember this. So this is how equity shareholders are different from other sources of finance. Okay, and there is a lot of theory here, okay, which will come for 7 mark and 10 mark. So let me go back to the PowerPoint slide. Okay, if you have read the reading material, 12-page reading material, which I have already shared, okay, so it will be very easy for you to understand. Okay, otherwise try to pay attention and learn now. Students, can you see the PowerPoint slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so students, so far these are different sources of finance from where company can raise capital. Okay, or raise funds for the purpose of investment. So far we have learned how to compute the cost of debt or debentures. We learned how to compute the cost of preference capital. And now we are going to understand how to compute the cost of equity capital. Okay, equity capital is raised by way of issue of equity shares. Okay, remember all these three, debt, preference shares and equity shares, all are traded in the secondary market. Okay, all are traded in the secondary market. You should know this. So now over to cost of equity capital.
The secondary market means?
Okay, see, primary market means where the equity shares are issued in the first time. Say for example, okay, VRL Logistics Company Hubballi. Okay, a couple of years ago, I don't remember, maybe 3-4 years ago. Okay, they issued equity shares for the first time. So we call it initial public offering. Okay, now once the company issues equity shares into the market and investors purchase the equity shares, these investors can later trade these equity shares. That is called a secondary market. It is not visible.
Okay.
Okay, so where you can trade the equity shares which are already issued. So it's called a secondary market. So now VRL Logistics shares you can also purchase and sell. Remember. Okay. So cost of equity capital. I hope the background was okay, good enough for you to briefly understand what are equity shares. Equity shares implicitly involve a return in terms of the dividend expected by its shareholders and therefore carry a cost. Okay. See, in terms of debt, it was more easy to understand. Okay, it is not about calculation. Please try to understand. It's not about calculations. Okay, in terms of debt, maybe a loan from bank, loan from financial institution, or issue of bonds and debentures. It is easy. It can be easily understood that the cost of debt capital is the rate of interest. Correct. And in case of preference dividend, the cost of capital is the rate of preference dividend. So it is easy to understand. But in case of equity capital, as in case of preference shares, the rate of dividend is not fixed. The rate at which, the percentage rate at which company distributes dividend to equity shareholders varies every year. So it becomes slightly difficult to understand and calculate cost of equity capital. I hope you understand that first. But still, equity shares implicitly involve a return in terms of the dividend expected by its shareholders. So if you are purchasing equity shares of a company, okay, what is the reason? Okay, what you expect in return? You are expecting good dividend in return. So therefore, equity capital also carry a cost in terms of the dividend expected by its shareholders. The cost of capital may be defined as the minimum rate of return that a firm must earn on the equity financed portion of an investment project in order to maintain the market price of the shares. So as we learned, a company can raise capital from different sources: debt or debentures, preference capital, equity capital, right? So in case of equity capital, the cost of capital refers to the minimum rate of return that a firm must earn. Okay, say for example, if the cost of equity capital is 11%, what does it mean? The minimum return on any project in which the company is planning to invest also must be 11%. So that at least whatever is invested by the equity whatever is invested from the equity capital, let's say 100 rupees the company is investing. So 25 rupees they have invested from debenture debt capital, 25 rupees they have invested from preference capital, and 50 rupees they have invested from equity capital. This is how they have arranged for 100 rupees for the purpose of investment. So the cost of capital may be defined as the minimum rate of return that a firm must earn on the equity financed portion of an investment project in order to maintain the market price of the shares. Okay, so that 50 rupee from the equity capital which is invested by the company in the overall project, Okay, company must earn some minimum rate of return where they can meet the equity shareholders dividend expectation. Okay, so there are two approaches to find out the cost of equity capital. One is a dividend approach and the other is a capital asset pricing model. So there is some theory part involved in it. So let me quickly go through. So first let us consider the dividend approach. So in the numericals, okay, information will be given and sometimes it will be directly given, use a dividend approach. Compute the cost of equity capital using dividend approach, or compute the cost of equity capital using CAPM they will write. Huh? It will not be written full form. Capital asset pricing model. Okay, then it is easy for you to which equation or which method to use. And sometimes they don't explicitly mention which approach to use. So depending on the information given, you have to understand whether to use the dividend approach or CAPM approach. CAPM is capital asset pricing model. That is why I'm telling, okay, please read the theory material which I have given. Okay, please read the problems also. It's not just about solution. Read the problems repeatedly. Okay, in order to understand, each problem is equivalent to a case actually. Okay, solution is going over 2 to 3 pages. In one class, I cannot complete a problem, as you can see this. Okay, so it will give you provide you a tremendous okay amount of knowledge, okay, which will lay a very solid foundation for your subject learning in semester 3 and 4. Okay, as well as an interview also. Okay, so generally they will go for the foundation courses, okay, like marketing management, human resource management, accountancy, financial management, basic foundation courses. They will ask questions from there to test your subject knowledge or concept clarity. Okay, remember this. So please develop that habit of reading and make use of the resources, so many resources that are being shared on a regular basis. So first let us learn about dividend approach, how to compute cost of equity capital using dividend approach. So dividend approach is based on a dividend valuation model. So what is the dividend valuation model? Dividend valuation model assumes that the value of a share equals the price value of all future dividends that is expected to earn over an indefinite period. So when I am purchasing an equity share of a company, on what basis I am ready to or willing to pay a particular price, okay, based on how much dividend the company may distribute in future. Okay, those future values when converted to their present value, okay, should be equal to the present share price. Only then there will be greater demand for the equity share of that company. So dividend valuation model, yes.
One example, please, sir.
Example is what we are going to solve, right? First, we are learning the approach, the procedure. Okay. After each type, have you not solved every type? Cost of debt, irredeemable, redeemable, par, discount, premium, before tax, after tax, then preference, irredeemable, redeemable, right? So we are all going to solve problems on dividend approach basis. We are going to solve examples on capital asset pricing model approach. Correct? Don't worry. Huh? First, let us learn the concept. Why I'm explaining in detail, it will appear for 7 or 10 marks in theory. There are very few questions for theory. So shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
You will have example. Without example, this subject, as I told you, is the only subject where you will get 100 mark. All 100 mark you can attempt numericals and score 100 out of 100. Remember that. So dividend valuation model assumes that the value of a share, present price of the equity share, equals the present value of all future dividends that it is expected to earn over an indefinite period. So how are you going to estimate that? That is the example what Keshav you are asking. After this theory, I'm going to handle, okay, a problem or example. The two elements of calculating cost of equity capital under this approach are, okay, net proceeds, two data what we need, two types of data what we need. When I say two elements, two types of data what we need for calculating cost of equity under dividend approach. One is the net proceeds from the sale of a share. Okay, as we know it now from a preference share or issue of debenture. So net proceeds from the sale of a equity share or current market price of the share also can be considered. Okay, depending on what information is given in the example. Then second data or second element we need is dividends and capital gains expected on the share. So this data will also be given in the example. Okay, so definitely we are going to consider the example once I complete the theory. So we need these two data. Okay, market price of the equity share, current market price of the equity share, or net proceeds from the sale of an equity share, and as well as we need information on dividends. Okay, both will be given in the problem, of course. In arriving at first, okay, so that is net proceeds from the sale of a equity share, adjustments for flotation of the costs and a discount or premium are necessary, which we have already made in preference share capital. So I hope you have learned them. In case of dividends, the second element, the investors expect a rate of return, rate of dividend, which will not be constant over years, but will grow. As I mentioned, the rate of equity dividend is not fixed like in case of different shares, but the investors expect that over a period of time, the rate of dividend paid goes on increasing. Okay. So the growth in expected dividends in future may be either dividends at a uniform rate perpetually, or it may vary. While calculating the cost of equity capital under this approach, expected dividends under different growth rates are assumed. Okay, as there is no single rate of dividend for each year. So when dividends are expected to grow at a uniform rate perpetually. Okay, so we are going to consider the examples only when dividends are expected to grow at a uniform rate perpetually, means for indefinite period of time. We use the equation PO is equal to D1 divided by KE minus G. Okay. So this equation can be rewritten as KE, okay, is equal to D1 divided by PO plus G. Okay, see, this is high school level mathematics, 7th, 8th, 9th. Okay, so I hope you can recall. Okay, but let's focus now on the equation. So where D1, KE is cost of equity capital. Okay, KE is cost of equity capital. I repeat, D1 is expected dividend per share. D1 is expected dividend per share. PO is net proceeds per share divided by current market price. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. PO is net proceeds per share. Okay. Or current market price, whatever is given in the problem, we have to use that for PO. Okay. Then G is growth in expected dividends. G is growth in expected dividends. To what extent the expected dividends will grow. So all this information will be given in the problem. Okay. So before we solve an example, let us complete this theory part first. Okay. Yeah.